Look, first of all, I'm sorry I wasn't here when he started the presentation. I welcome you here and thank you for coming. And it's very, very important to have this interaction on behalf of farmers. I'm sorry the man that mentioned it has gone. I resent the fact that there was an assertion made that farmers were drinking too much at home, and that was a big problem, because I don't accept that they drink any more than any other people in any other sector. That's what I'd say. I'm a publican myself and doing the bar for almost 50 years, and I can't say that farmers have more mind for drink than any other sector of the community. I think it's a bit unfair. We need to clarify that. I don't give in to that. I do resent the fact very much that Shane Ryan put many, housed many farmers for good, because they can't come and have the 2 or 3 points that they had. I fought very hard for them that they could drink on local roads and not on regional or primary roads, but sadly that didn't happen. But I stand over that. And there's been many things said here. The farm payments. We're here with the last 3 weeks, asking ministers and asking different fellows to do something about the acres payments. We still read today that there's 1,500 farmers not paid their acres payment for last year. I'm saying, as a committee, we write to the ministers and the government involved and say, please pay these people half their money now, and let them sort out the difference after. But there's people in a bad way, 1,500 families waiting for their money, and I'm asking support from the rest of the committee for that. And you see, farmers are working on their own, and that's the one thing that's against them. And many of these have stayed at home from coming out at all since the COVID. The group of people I'm talking about is 60 to 75, and they're very much isolated. I feel very much for them, and I know the likes of you are doing great work, and we need to do more work for those type of people to ensure that they stay there. And they are very worried when they get a letter about not complying with regulations, rules and regulations. I think the departments must do their job all right, but be more approachable and more, treat the farmers better, because if farmers aren't there, and there's a lot of them disappearing because the young fellas aren't taking it on, I tell you, towns and villages will suffer as well.
Very brief, just Deputy Healy-Rae, he's a publican. I think what he sees is what our research is showing, that farmers are low alcohol and substance use as an average. Farmers are working in isolation. An excellent research has been done in UG, University of Galway, regarding older farmers and meeting at marts and that. We're looking at ways to progress that work. Senator Collins talks about ATVs. It's competency-based training based on QQI. There are numerous providers available. Regarding filling out of forms, well, there's a whole of FOSS, Farm Advisory Service Advisory, some 800 advisors helping farmers personally to get done. The Green Ribbon campaign, we're aware of it, we've supported it previously, and we will certainly do it. I think Deputy Brady's point about a sticker and that, I think it's a follow on from our leaflet. Yeah, we'd be absolutely happy to go with that. And regarding communications, we seek to help farmers to, comply with relevant regulations and that, and we never in any way wish to be alarmist in any way from a Teagasc point of view.
Okay. In terms of Senator Collins, you made the point about improving accessibility to services or training, and that is really at the heart of a lot of what we're trying to do in terms of going to where the farmer is. It's not putting any barriers or burdens in their way that are in addition to everything else they're trying to get on with. In terms of Senator Brady, you mentioned the TB helpline. I can't respond directly to it, but what I can say is that myself and a number of colleagues within Teagasc have been working on looking at the human impact of TB and focusing in on how the inspection process works there and the stresses that can bring into it, and trying to identify ways of improving the communication skills of the various different people involved in that in order to provide farmers with the right knowledge at the right time and to take some of the uncertainty and stress out of this. And we have an ongoing project in that area called COM-TB, which is funded by DAFM, and we'll have finished that up by the end of the year.
Thank you. Alice?
Thank you very much. And just on to deal with the different issues, we'll take a different issue each, which is on the first one, which was, I think it was Senator Brady mentioned about the partnership with other bodies and whatever. And we do partnership with lots of other bodies all the time to try and get the work done. We have partnered with Sea Change on that green ribbon for years. We did for 12 consecutive years. We did walks every year in the month of July, August and September, which we call the green ribbon walks. And we promoted that for a very long time. We have people who sit on the RSA, so we work around the farm safety and how that links in with mental health and wellbeing. I think you spoke to some of the members earlier today. We deal with the HSC from time to time when we make referrals or whatever. Teagasc, we deal with Teagasc on an ongoing basis with both Dr. McNamara and Professor McNamara and Dr. Meredith. We've dealt with you on numerous occasions. And just from an interesting point of view, you mentioned the green ribbon, and you talked about tractor drives. I'm going to tell you that Wexford have already won ahead. Back 3 weeks ago, we had a green ribbon tractor drive across Mount Leinster. Rising at dawn, it was similar to the walk into light. We drove into light, leaving Ballindagan, driving across Mount Leinster and back to Ballindagan. Every tractor had a green ribbon on it and had a social event afterwards. So we have started the trend within IFA of having your tractor drive now with your green ribbon. So just to assure you, we're in the space already. Teresa will deal with maybe around the whole area of quads. You asked Senator Collins about quads and quad training. Teresa has been involved somewhat in around that, and a number of other issues that have come up. Maybe Teresa, you'd like to take those. Oh yeah, she has all of. She'll deal with all of that. Yeah. The qualitative research, the 23 points, the 20. Do you want to take that? Oh, Claire's going to take that. Sorry. Claire.
I can take the comment on the qualitative data. So I suppose as part of our project, we wanted to come out at the end of it with stats and figures to show, how beneficial this was over the course of the project. So just a few stats here that I can give you. 41% of the participants had elevated blood pressure. 39% of the participants hadn't had their blood pressure checked in over a year, and 2% actually stated that they've never had a blood pressure checked, which that is a stark figure. Of that, 4.4% then required immediate medical attention. So that requires the CRE nurses to send them directly to their local GP if they could get in, or if not, it was straight to the local hospital. So I suppose their stark figures on our end. There was quite, the elevated blood pressure levels on the day. When you speak to the farmers on the ground, there was. They weren't aware that these issues, there were these underlying issues. So I suppose it was very important to have them there on the day, and it was an easy access for them to get that service. And then I suppose the importance of that project then was that we had a follow-up on this. So the nurses followed up with our participants 3 to 4 weeks after they had their check. So they made sure that the participant followed up with their doctor and there was this check. So I suppose that's a very important part of our project, and we want that to continue so that they're getting the full the importance out of this check. And then following on from that, we had the mental health assessment. So I suppose there was a comment there on how do we get these vulnerable people to come into us, to actually come in and have the health check. Well, to be honest, we didn't really have that issue. We had a huge demand for this service from day one. Now we had lots of different, scenarios where wives were encouraging farmers, their husbands, to get in the queue. But when they got into the queue, we had the consent forms, and part of their consent form was the mental health questionnaire. So I suppose they were in the queue for their health check, for their physical health check, which was their cholesterol and their blood pressure check. But along with that then was their mental health assessment, and that's where on the ground they could feel, they felt comfortable in opening up and having that conversation with us, who was there on the ground, and the Farm Family Committee that were there to help us. So I suppose just some of the figures out of that was we had 58% of farmers that never or rarely felt relaxed. There was 49% or never or rarely felt confident in themselves, and 46% never or rarely felt optimistic about the future. So I suppose they're just figures that we have taken from our project, and we plan to build on this further as we progress this project throughout the year ahead. So yeah, they're the figures that we have out of that. And just on a comment in relation to the ploughing as well, yes, we will be there in full force at the ploughing this year. We were there last year, and it was actually our first event last year of the start of the project, and we completed over 350 checks during the course of the ploughing. So yes, we'll be in full force again this year, and yeah, looking forward to starting the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much.